Good evening, class. Today we're going to go over Chapter 2 in the textbook, A Guide to Presentations by Russell and Munter. My name is Ahmad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Kiana. I'm Tanupriya.
So there are four important points to this chapter that we have found. 1, identify the purpose. 2, interact with the audience, get them involved. 3, write down your objective. And 4, use the objective to stay focused throughout the presentation. Find the purpose. First, when trying to communicate to an audience successfully, not only do you need to determine the audience needs and wants, you also need to determine your wants and needs. When presenting, you are attempting to persuade and move the audience to join in on your mission. To do this, your purpose needs to be clear. Interaction with the audience. In a traditional old school presentation, the norm is to focus solely on delivering the information. More effective communicators involve the audience in the presentation. Effective presenters generate feedback and comments from the audience. To do this, the presenter needs to give up control. There is a trade-off of the control. The presenter is either telling, selling, consulting, or joining in the audience. Telling is delivering the content to inform. Selling is delivering the content to persuade and change the audience's behavior or views. Consulting is seeking insight and comments and viewpoints from the audience. And joining is involving the audience's ideas and viewpoints in the presentation towards your objective.
So overall, all presentations are interactive with your audience. And 2 that I'd like to talk to you guys about is consult situations and join situations. So as Ahmad said, consult situations are focused on audience engagement through questions and comments, more like Q&A sessions. And then join situations are interactive with the audience in that you are looking for ideas and support from them. And these 2 focuses will kind of impact the purpose of your presentation when you are trying to put your presentation together, and also will affect how you decide on your goals for your presentation as well. So with a consult situation, your purpose is to decide what you want from the audience. And this would be an example like here. I have a picture. It's supposed to represent a city hall meeting for a sorts. So let's say you give feedback, or you give a presentation on a topic and you want feedback from your audience, their reactions to a new policy or something like that. So you would open the floor more so to questions and answers so that you can get the reactions from the people who would be affected by what you are trying to implement. And then right here we have an example of a joint situation. And this differentiates itself because they're more collaborative. So you would give a short presentation, and then it would be more so that your group would break up into smaller groups, and you give them an opportunity to really work together to have more of an influence on whatever you're trying to achieve. So next slide. All of this leads into writing a goal for your presentation. And this is really important because once you determine your purpose, your goal is going to help you decide how your presentation moves forward past the actual presentation itself. So it's really important to always keep your goal result-oriented and audience-focused. And you can do this, it keeps you on track, it helps you get results from your presentation. So the best way to do this is to decide what you want from your audience, or what you want from your presentation. So you have to decide the result you want moving forward. And then you have to decide what the audience will do for you. So that's why you have results-oriented, audience-focused. An example of this would be, as a result of my presentation, the audience will. So it tells you what they should gain from your presentation, and then it tells you what you want them to do moving forward. And this can be adjusted to your presentation style. So as a result of my sales pitch, the audience will do this. So you just use these tools to help you in your presentation in the future. And now I'll pass it to Tanupriya.
Okay, so as Kiana mentioned, it's extremely important to write down the objective of your presentation, as it helps you keep track of your presentation both during and as you're preparing for it. Now, In addition to having a results-oriented and audience-focused goal, it's also important to specify what exactly you want from your audience, and this kind of goal is called a specific, measurable, and attainable goal. So how you do this is, as she said, basically you say that as a result of her presentation, I want the audience to, and then you basically list some of the targets you want them to achieve based on what you want them to think, feel, and do. So the first thing you want your audience to do is think. So let's say that you are representative of some animal shelter and you're presenting to a group of potential investors or donors. And so what you want your audience to think is based on the knowledge you give them. So let's say the knowledge you give them is in the form of numbers and data, like the number of dogs that are adopted in a year or the number of stray dogs found in a year. And based on the knowledge you give them, your audience can form opinions. And so that's basically what you want them to do when you say you want your audience to think. You want to give them knowledge and you want them to form opinions based on that knowledge. The next thing you want your audience to do is feel, and this is in the form of emotions and attitudes. So when you're presenting as a representative of an animal shelter, you obviously want them to feel certain emotions so that they're more inclined to donate towards your cause. The next thing you want your audience to do is to actually take action, and this is in the form of mental and physical actions. So an example of a physical action would be when towards the end of your presentation, your audience actually gets up and claps for you, or they agree to volunteer at your shelter, or maybe they donate to your cause. So it's really important to specify these three things, as they may, several times, they have components that overlap, so you have to make sure you specify what you want from your audience. The next thing you have to do is make sure that the things you have specified are measurable. Now, it may be hard to actually measure the amount of knowledge your audience has gained as a result of your presentation, or it may be hard to actually understand what emotions they're feeling due to your presentation. But the one thing you can do is actually specify what actions you want them to take as a result of your presentation. And the last thing you have to make sure is that the goals you have set for yourself and for your audience are attainable. So you can't expect 100% audience participation, or like you can't expect everyone to come and volunteer at your shelter. So you have to make sure that the goal you have set is actually attainable. Now I'll pass it on to Brian.
So once you have your different objective goal and you know what you want in your presentation and how you're going to do it, you're moving into the next step, which is writing or curating what you're actually going to present and speak. This is extremely important that you make sure that you stay focused and utilize the goal that you previously wrote in your presentation. If you write a very good goal and then you start presenting and you meander off, and it'll lose a lot of cohesion and there will be a misunderstanding between the audience and yourself. So in order to stay on target, one of the best ways of doing it is simply to memorize your goal and hopefully what you can say. If you have this down where you can do it without needing to improvise or go off track, then it does improve cohesion a lot, and it makes it so the audience understands and sees that you know what you're talking about. And in order to do that, the most obvious way is to practice. Not just practicing to yourself or reading in your mind, but make sure and say it out loud. Do it in front of an audience of different people, preferably people who don't know what you're presenting beforehand. And when doing all this, just ultimately make sure that your goal is completely followed, and it'll raise the confidence of your presentation greatly. And people are very receptive to confidence, both through verbal and nonverbal actions, and respond to somebody who's speaking confidently a lot more acutely than they would otherwise. If you have a specific goal or idea in mind and you say it confidently, people are very likely to look at you and agree and follow what you're saying, versus somebody who maybe is a little more shaky or don't quite know what they're saying because they didn't follow their goal or practice as much. And a suggestion, as we learned in class, previous group mentioned, is power poses. From what we learned, basically they're poses that are similar in the animal kingdom humans, but you stand for a while in very open poses, and it's proven to increase their confidence level and your amount of testosterone in your body, which greatly increases the ability of you to look and act and seem confidence from the audience. And ultimately, it's just going to help in keeping you on track and making your goal achievable and everything about it great. So in conclusion, make sure that you find and understand the purpose of what you're going to say and present. And then interact with the audience in the best way you can, understand the type of presentation and type of thing, and design it around that. And then create a goal. Make sure you have a clear objective goal that you can practice and follow in order for your presentation to have a much greater sense of cohesion. And then ultimately, focus, practice, perform, do this with confidence, and the audience will respect and respond to you in a much greater fashion than a few words. And then here's the